Yeah, just the fact that it's done with such a specific type of ceremony in itself yields to that fact. So, speaking of the ceremony, what does an ayahuasca ceremony typically look like?
I think it's different amongst each individual tribe. So I'll describe what it was like when I was training. Right? There's different, and there's wide varieties around the world now, and even across Brazil to Ecuador to Colombia to Peru, there's a wide variety of different practices. So in some of them there's fire, in some of them it's not. Some of them are more celebratory, some of them are more meditative. So in understanding that, but typically there's a starting time because you kind of have to gather and get everybody there. And so there's a setup process to make sure that the space is safe and it's really culturally understood what that's like. So there's a place for you to lie down. There's a place for you to be able to purge if you need to, which is if something has to come out, it can come out in the form of vomit or diarrhea. Um, so there's that. There's the preparation of the space. Then everybody gets together, and then there's an opening of the session, which is sort of an unveiling or a bringing out of the ayahuasca. There's a tremendous amount of reverence about that because of how sacred it is to the people. So it's not considered like a religious object, it's considered something very profound and sacred. And that there's an extraordinary concept of energy or spirit associated with this, that you're asking for help in terms of people's healing. And so there's that vibe of sacredness around it. And then there's an opening, which could look like a blessing, it could look like a chant or a kind of prayer given to it or a kind of invocation and setting of intention. And then I think what's really interesting is that there's a process of the serving of the ayahuasca or the dose that's given to each person that's unique to that person. And then there's also a unique preparation of it in the form of Ikaro, which is a kind of chant that's given to it to say that this is for you. So it's not just like one pill, two pill, three, here's 100 pills for you and 100 pills for you. It's the exact opposite concept. It's this specific medicine, like this cup is literally for you in this moment, and it's not the same as any other cup. So that is distinction is made. And then there's usually about half an hour to an hour of just calm, where you're letting the ayahuasca start to take effect, it starts to be digested. And then the traditional ceremony, the lights go out and it's held in the dark. It's to help promote the visions, to not be distracted by lights. And then everybody goes into a very deep communion and a very deep meditation with the plant and the transference of the energies that come through in the ceremony itself. And the ceremony has percussion. There's a shakapa, which is actually behind me, the leaf instrument. It makes a shook sound, so it's kind of shook, 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 shook. And then some use rattles, which can be a little more piercing in their sound. Others use drums, etc. But there's a constant rhythm, and that helps guide the trance experience that happens in the ceremony. Then there are the visionary experiences, and typically somebody goes through onset and then the visions themselves, and then the natural kind of relaxing after the ceremony until they go to sleep. A ceremony could last anywhere from 3 to 6 hours. In the longest case I've heard of 10 or 12-hour ceremonies, but 3 to 6 hours is pretty common, and the effects last typically that long.